Hello everyone. So today we are talking about RPA, something that we have planned to talk about for quite some time. Actually, it's been at least a month that I've been planning to speak about RPA and get the right person, the right expert to speak about it. But unfortunately, or fortunately enough, and I'll tell why, there were some delays due to quarantine that we had. And as you know, I am here in the UAE, I'm in Dubai, and quarantine was a bit harsh in here, which I'm grateful for because the numbers are going down right now on new cases. But quarantine was a harsh thing for us, and social distancing, working from home, and the last month was a holy month of Ramadan, where the whole thing was even more slowed down because people are fasting and normal business hours were cut down to 4 or 5 effective hours, I would call them. So with the quarantine around, you can expect that to be even less than 4 to 5 hours working hours a day. But finally, and lucky me, I've got into the partnership with a company called RPA, Pix Robotics, and this partnership been so far a very fruitful partnership for me and hopefully for them as well. And obviously, being a company-to-company partnership, I had also a very close and peer relationship, close person relationship with one of the leading men of Pix RPA, Maxim, with whom we are doing our interview today to talk about RPA a little bit more and make sure that you guys all have a little bit more understanding on a high level about what RPA is, how it works, where it can be applied, and why your company and yourself as an expert in whatever field you are have to look at RPA and make sure you understand how it works and where is it going, because it is already affecting in a very positive way the way companies work, and it's going to do so even more. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce my friend, my colleague, Maxim, who is a very passionate expert and consultant for RPA, who worked for and with other RPA products on the market, of which he's going to be talking about later. So without any further ado, Maxim, please just give us a little bit of introduction of yourself so we can keep on rolling this thing.
Thanks, Hakim, for introduction. My name is Maxim, that's right. I'm a CPO in Pix Robotics. Also, I'm a project manager with experience over 10 years, and this experience has experience in automation of business processes, robotization with RPA tools. For example, UiPath, Pix, and Automation Anywhere, and etc. And also I have an experience in growing up teams, RP teams, and I think it can help us to speak about RPA deeply. So.
Yep, thanks a lot, Maxim. Actually, it's not required for us to talk a lot about us because it's not about us, but it's more about the technology and how it can help people to improve the way their business work and the way they actually find themselves in this technology world and identify new career path. And I hope that hope that video will help them to understand that a little bit more deeply. So with that being said, I would like us to start off with just giving people a very short and a very easy to understand definition of what is RPA.
RPA is an emerging technology involving bots that mimic humans' actions to complete repetitive tasks. This is a simple description. If we want to speak more, a little bit, I can say that RPA is governed by business logic and structured inputs aimed to automate business process. Using RPA tool, a company can configure a robot software to capture and interpret applications for processing a transaction, manipulating data, triggering responses, and communicating with other digital systems. Also, I can say that RPA scenarios range from something as simple as generating an automatic response to an email to deploying thousands of bots, each programmed to automate jobs in any system. At the end, I can say that RPA bots are digital workers that are capable of using our keyboards and mouses just like we do. And that opens a wide range of possibilities for automation.
So basically, Maxim, what you're saying, the RPA is an application, right? So that works from someone's computer, or if it's a server, it can also work from a server. And as a human employee, human being works and interacts with the computer or with the data inside a computer by using a mouse, by using a keyboard. I would usually, that I like that, saying that a human being works from outside in the computer and digital data, whereas RPA works from inside out using, the same keyboard and the same mouse. So it's an application installed, configured, that can mimic the repetitive logical process and can replace humans in the mundane and repetitive tasks.
Yeah, you're right.
Sure. Great. I think that sounds easy enough to understand and to digest for those who do not have much of understanding of what is RPA. And I do believe that they will help much more to understand what is RPA, and eventually understand where it can be applied and how it can be applied if we speak about where RPA came from. Because from my experience and from my knowledge that I have, a little bit of knowledge comparing to yours, Maxim, that I have, RPA they've been there for more than 10 years. So can you just elaborate a little bit on where RPA came from and how it evolved to whatever it is right now?
RPA came from more than 10 years ago. Let's speak about 19th. The 19th also saw the emergence of technology which most closely resembles RPA. It was in the decade that workflow automation tools were released and artificial intelligence emerged in its infancy. All of this, all of which paved the way for robotic process automation. Thanks for these developments, by the early 20s, simple RPA was really developed. However, it remained relatively unknown for some time. It wasn't until 2015 when RPA began to enter the mainstream. The basic RPA versions released in the early 90s were useful for automatic repetitive tasks. However, it had its limits and so-called cognitive RPA, and it was considered to be inventable evolution of the tech. Nowadays, cognitive RPA allows for better optical character recognition, OCR, natural language processing, NLP, and of course machine learning to handle semi-structured and unstructured data. This is the RPA we know today.
Okay, that's. I think it's a bit deeper, and hopefully we can dive into that sometimes later, in even more deeper, to have a better understanding of where RPA came from and how it has evolved. But so far, I think that's good enough for us to cover the very high level of what is RPA. Obviously, talking about where it came from and where is it evolving right now, it would be important to mention who are the main players? Who are the main companies providing RPA solutions that are known for being, on the forefront of the technology revolution with this RPA?
Let's speak firstly how did it evolve. While we saw an increasing trend in RPA popularity between 2016 and 2017, there was not much increase during 2017 and 2018. However, this was not at the end to RPA's growth. So RPA is still growing in popularity today. I believe we haven't reached peak RPA yet. After April 2019, I see a considerable increase in the popularity of this technology. And in the spring of 2020, interest in RPA has decreased. Coronavirus outbreak has initially resulted in reduced interest in all topics as people learned about this novel virus. We expect RPA adoption to continue as cheaper and more capable RPA solutions become more widely available in both enterprises and small business. And of course, we can now speak about who are the main players instead of this quarantine and coronavirus. The main players we can separate in the world and in, for example, Russia. The main players in the world, I think there are three main players: UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism. These RP tools are widely used in many companies in Fortune 500 and top 10 world companies. In Russia, we have not so many tools, but the Pix is the most powerful tool, and we use it in a lot of cases in our country, and so we plan to move on and to catch some market in the world. So
yeah, that is why you guys are reaching out to the Middle East and GCC countries, trying to establish yourself here and promote your product, which is Pix Robotics and Pix RPA. So that's your first steps into expanding in other countries, except other countries aside from Russia and Russian-speaking countries. Great. So can we just elaborate a little bit on how the RPA works, because understanding what it is, understanding where it came from, and how historically it has evolved to whatever it is, and who are the main players, help to find yourself in a position where you can understand what is the product, but where it is used and how it is used. I think it's even more important because for myself, for example, when I started this RPA learning path for myself, I actually had to read a lot about where RPA can be applied, understand how it works, and that would take me a lot more time if it was not for your help and the information that you shared. So why don't you share a little bit of how RPA works, so our audience can also understand in a very simple words how it works.
I can divide this topic in two topics: backend automation and front-end automation. Let's speak about backend. RPA works by accessing information from your existing IT systems. There are numerous ways that RPA tools can integrate with your applications. And as I said, one option is through connection to databases and enterprise web services. Another is through front-end or desktop connections, then take multiple from by using graphical user interface. And you can ask me which way is the best. It depends on your enterprise and the needs that the solution will address. With backend connectivity, your automation accesses system and services under the control of a process automation server. This is the most commonly used for unattended automation, where your software robots carry out back-office tasks such as processing insurance claims at scale and with minimal employee interventions. On the other hand, robot can use front-end automation. There are several ways your automation can connect with desktop applications, such as SAP, PeopleSoft, or Salesforce CRM as example, and other resources to get to jobs done. A front-end automation can read and write data as well as capture events straight from the user interface of the target application in a similar way to a human operator. Humans look at the screen, recognize the elements by what they look like and how they are labeled and interact accordingly. But how does attended robot work? By recognizing each element by its properties and technology family and checking out its structure and hierarchy. Exactly what that element sits on the screen does not really matter. So as a result, we have two ways of automation, backend and frontend. Backend uses database connections and API integrations, and front-end automation uses graphical user interface, how people do.
Okay, so so when we talk about how it works from the back-end and front-end perspective, I think it would be interesting to mention some of the maybe very simple and understandable cases in terms of front end and in terms of the back end. Please, can you share just a couple of cases?
Let's speak maybe, for example, some cases in Salesforce. Maybe you can integrate with Salesforce with graphical user interface, and you can record every давайте сейчас перезапишем. Let's speak for example with case in Salesforce. You can use a graphical user interface which robot capture, and you can record every task you do in this system, and you can put them all into RPA robot. So you can, robot does every task you do like a human, and so robot do the same tasks.
I can actually also add, as per my experience so far, I can add the case where, for example, the API is not a right solution, for example, or it's not available between two systems. Let's say it's not available between your back-end RPA or accounting system and your front-end e-commerce. And in that case, if you don't have an API supported by back-end and front-end solutions, and or that API is very expensive to develop, even more expensive, than to have just the RPA implemented and configured for that, then that would be a very good case, because you can have an RPA capture the sales from the e-commerce, and then have a complex process where it can create different documents, different reports, in a backend accounting or ERP in order to record all the sales and control your stock minimum levels in your backend warehouses as well as in your e-commerce. So that is one of the cases, I know because that's what we are working with Maxim right now in a couple of cases like that. So that could be also as an example for the same to explain how RPA works.
I also can add some information that numerous business processes can be really automated with RPA, and there are some examples, and they are application processing, quote to cash, procure to pay, data migration and entry, periodic reports, and so on. There are also numerous industries, for example, telecom, financial services, banks, for example, some other business functions, marketing, sales, production, etc. And specific processes that can be automated. Can be automated with RPA. RPA is a solution you should put at the top of your company's agenda if your business fits any of things. For example, you use legacy systems, or a significant portion of the costs is driven by repetitive process, and so on. Some industries that have companies that fit both of these points. Most of these are old companies that really on legacy systems. RP can achieve significant savings and customer satisfaction increase in branches, call centers, and the back office.
Great. I think that's also one great example. From what I understood, different industries where RPA is already performing very well and is widely implemented and adopted. And within those businesses, and pretty much any business, you can easily identify departments and functions like your finance, marketing, management reporting, IT, HR, for example, for offboarding and onboarding of employees. But I think that would be, how to identify the RPA case and then how to approach it. What are the industries as well as what are the functions where RPA can show a real business value. I think that could be a topic for me and you, Maxim, to speak about next time if we do see that people are interested into into hearing more about this topic. So we definitely will explore that opportunity for both of us to speak about in more details. I would like to take us a little bit of the career path that you had for yourself in RPA, and to understand why did you opt for RPA as your career, and why other people need to look into RPA as their main career path right now.
Hakim, I think that career in RPA is considered to be very effective. The emerging graduates can easily expect a major share of employment opportunities in the world. Also, pay packages for experts with skill sets in this field are relatively higher when compared to other fields. With reference to RPA in the IT field, there are many tasks performed by humans within the IT projects, like collaboration, planning, reporting, managing, controlling, etc. RPA will definitely become to next revolution in technology, and you will surely find thousands of jobs opening every year. There are more than 5 million jobs awaiting you right now, I think. Experts believe that within a short span of time, the field of RPA is going to crawl up into different sectors of industries, research and development, banking and medicine, IT sector, and many more. At the same time, RPA opportunities are not limited to not limited to technologists, business analysts and others with the ability to analyze business processes and imagine how they can be automated can learn to produce bots themselves or write up to requirements for an RPA developers to work from. So I think every human can start that career with RPA, and I think it's not very hard to learn about it and to be more experienced.
So am I correct in understanding, Maxim, that new graduates can look at RPA as their career path and start learning it, whereas at the same time already established experts in automation, software implementation, system integration, business analysts, they can already, those who have already some knowledge and understanding of the business, they can actually add this as their another skill, and then start utilizing it in order to become even more valuable on the market and go along with the growth of this technology. Am I right with that?
Yeah, you're really right. And as I said, it's no hard to start to getting new skill set.
So it's not about the development, right? It does not involve a lot of coding, so you don't need to actually know how to code in order to start working or start learning and then start working with RPA.
RPA systems are low-code or no-code systems. What does it mean? No-code systems, the systems that doesn't require any coding at all, and low-code seems to be something right to code, and therefore you can Google anything about it, or you can learn about something in .NET, and also you can you can improve yourself in some coding, but it's not a huge learning baggage.
Okay, so I can actually support whatever Maxim is saying by my own experience, because about 3 to 4 months ago, when I just started my first steps into the RPA world, it was just a YouTube, some courses on YouTube, free courses by the way, that I've taken for a couple of hours in order to understand a little bit better of what RPA is, how it works, and I even have done my first homework on RPA, where I have configured it to scrape some data from other websites and send this data automatically in Excel to me, so I can analyze that. So the later I had more, of course, opportunity and more resources when I started partnering with Maxim and his team to have a little bit more of information to study. But as Maxim said, it's very easy to start, to learn, and to gradually become an RPA expert. Great. So I hope that people, will consider RPA as their next career path. Those who are interested, of course, and those who are into the implementation, system integration, because I see, and I believe most of the RPA leaders see that in RPA as a software automation 2.0, which means now the ERPs, accounting, CRM solutions, HRMS solutions, those that have been around for decades will have to actually step back to the background and let the RPA go into the front into the front of the automation, and help people connect the back end and the front end with this robotization of the processes. And with that being said, Maxim, since you are an expert, in RPA and been working with this technology for quite some time, What is your understanding where RPA is going right now, and what people, regular people like me and the audience, what do they have to expect from RPA? Where is it going right now?
Firstly, Hakim, let's speak about something in money field, in money market. RPA is expected to remain the fastest growing enterprise tech. So RPA has exhibited strong growth in the past, and most industry analysts expect the global RPA market revenues to continue growing at a strong pace. For example, Gartner calculated 800.5 millions in 2018, 1 billion and 300 millions by 2019. And what Forresters said, that numbers are 1 billion by 2019 at the end of the year, and for example, 3 billions by 2021. So, why is RPA relevant now? Because it's the most cost-efficient and effective way to automate modern office tasks. And what we expect? We expect advances in computer vision and integrations with common enterprise tools, enabled RPA tools to automate processes, and in every enterprise settings, including remote desktops. And also we expect more powerful optical character recognitions, more powerful machine learning capabilities, and of course we expect process discovery. So RPA can be self-development, and bots can learn, can teach other bots to automate business tasks, in short.
Great. That actually reminds me of the saying that I've read from one of the RPA leaders that says one robot for each employee. So that's, I think, a very good statement of what Bill Gates back in the day said, one computer for, every person. That's a very famous saying, from back in the days. But that's what, I also believe the trend is going right now, that soon enough, all the employees will have, in one way or the other, an RPA, whether it's attended or unattended, work for them. So while they are focused on some more creative tasks where the human involvement is a must, the repetitive, mundane, and logical processes will be automated by a robot, by RPA. Just like I believe back in the days, we all did not have, let's say, an Outlook to connect our mail. That I believe that in a distant future, maybe 3, 5, or 7 years from now, every single employee will have a robot on their computer, unattended or attended, that will replace their involvement in repetitive tasks or mundane tasks that are logic-based, while the employee will be focused more on more creative tasks where the human involvement is a must. So I'm pretty sure that that is coming in the near future. Aside from that, with that being said, what do you think are these predictions of the next 5, 10, 15 years as an expert? Because obviously whatever I say, that's on my very basic understanding. But what is your expert understanding of the predictions of where RPA is going?
As you said, I think it's a great idea to give one robot to every employee, and I think it's really possible in next years. and I think RPA tools will be more cheaper. And some tools that RPA uses today, for example, NLP and OCR and machine learning, etc., can be will be more more available. So every task you can imagine, you can describe, can be automated in a minute. And at the other hand, we can imagine that RPA can be developed, and so it won't require any users' involvement. So I think it's the real future in RPA technology and RPA market.
Great. So we have covered today a little bit on a very high level about RPA, what it is, how it works, where it came from, who are the main players, where RPA is going, and whether you should consider RPA as your next level skill or your career path. So hopefully that was something of interesting for the audience, and I'm pretty sure that we'll have some comments, some suggestions from the audience on which topic within the RPA with Maxim we can cover next. And I would like to ask our audience who will watch this video to give their feedback and suggestions on what topic they want us to cover and speak about RPA a little bit more for their understanding. So we're going to be more than happy to cover that and prepare some value content for them. Thank you very much, Maxim. Appreciate your time and appreciate your knowledge.
Thank you, Hakim. See you.
Thanks a lot for watching this video till the end. I do hope that you will find it useful and valuable for yourself. And please like the video, subscribe for the channel, and leave your comment, whether it's positive or negative. That always helps to improve the content that I'm creating for you and other people like yourself. You can find my LinkedIn profile link in the description below, as well as my guests' LinkedIn profile links in the description below. And again, thank you very much, and I see you next time.